I feel like the real nightmare watching this film is that there were 3 men here, 2 of them were just ugh, and the third was a literal serial killer, and yet I'd still rather be on a dating show back then than on one today.
And bachelor number 3, I'm counting on you. What are girls for?
If I had a penny for every film this year that started out as a regular TV show but ended up as a horror film, I'd have 2 pennies, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it happened twice. Anna Kendrick stars as this woman who goes on a dating show while trying to make as an actress and just get her face out there. And she's really sweet and nice, but also doesn't take any shit from men. Well, she does at the start, but then she just breaks in the middle and decides she's not going to anymore. Unfortunately, there's a lot of shit to be taken from these men because they're all terrible, and the worst one, who actually seems like the best one on the show and is the one she picks, is a serial killer. And here's the crazy part about this film, because I saw it, I thought it looked interesting, I was watching it, I was going, this is funky, but it's very specific in some of the things and some of the years it gives. Why? Because it's all real. I didn't realize until very near the end of this movie it's all based on a true story about this serial killer who was actually on this dating show, and this woman who was there and picked him, and then, well, you'll see what happens next, yeah. Knowing that the film is real makes it all the more terrifying to think back on. There are some things you can tell didn't actually happen, but for the most part, I don't know, it feels or seems very accurate to what actually happened. And there is that sense of just realism pervading it that, I don't know, it makes it feel more like a horror film. It isn't, I wouldn't call it a horror film. I'd call it kind of thrillery, crime, quite dramatic thing. And I think it's got its, like, darkly comedic moments. It doesn't feel funny, though. I wouldn't call it a horror film, but the serial killer's performance is very much on that level. It is nuts. I love Anna Kendrick's character. I feel like, again, maybe it wasn't so real that she went off script on the show and started just slagging off these men and stuff like that. But I really liked that they added that in. That's the thing. Most Hollywood films, you can feel like okay, this was unnecessary things when they add extra stuff in on a true story. This one, I felt like it could use those extra little bits, and those extra little bits make it more of a, I guess, just angry feminist movie. And it's great at being that, and it's a great version of one of those, and it's very watchable, even as a man, I guess. The main thing it does very well, and I was confused about it at first, but by 2/3 of the way through the film I really understood, the character work on the killer. It very much focuses on, not on him, but it has a lot more scenes than I'd expect, I guess, with him in it. And that wasn't about humanizing him. It was the opposite. It was showing, it's like the idea of not wanting to kill someone, because that's too easy. It showcases him specifically to show how much of a horrible monster he actually is, without it all like having to be from his perspective. And that's really, you don't see a lot of things try that. And it worked very well, so I'm very impressed. This isn't a masterpiece, but it is another good Netflix movie. I heard recently that they were actually trying to, like, push out better films. While they're still pushing out some crap, they've made, like, I think, like, 3 or 4 films released in the last 2-3 months that I've really gone, whoa, this is very good. Anna Kendrick, as a director, seemed really strong. This is her first time directing. She's amazing. And I don't think she was selfish in this. She wanted to star in it, but as much as I guess her and the serial killer I would call like the 2 leading roles, there is an awful lot of screen time without her there. And I think that was very good. It feels slightly misleading because she was in so much of the promotional materials. She's still important in the film, don't get me wrong, but yeah, she's not by any means a dominating main character. The cast of women is great. The writing feels empowering and strong. It's added some elaborations which make it feel like yes for females, even on top of a story that already, at the end of the day, is a very yes, good for her kind of story. It manages to be that significantly more than you would think, considering that this guy killed like maybe up to like 130 women, I think it said at the end. And that's very impressive as well, and a little surprising. It's a film I feel like I can't get every nuance of as a man, but I thought it was fantastic and loved it anyway, and I highly recommend checking this out. I'm giving The Predating Game 4 stars. I think I would have just happily watched Anna Kendrick mocking men for like a full film. I mean, let's be honest. We would have just watched Anna Kendrick painting a wall for 90 minutes. Like, she is incredible. Like, come on. I think all collectively we can just say, I'll watch whatever with her.